Look at this beautiful building on the shores of Lake Michigan in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That is the Art Museum here in downtown Milwaukee. I'm Tom Barnes. This is stories from the 78 from the Pfister Hotel. But before I get to the Pfister, I wanted to show off Milwaukee's lakefront. Look at this beautiful lakefront here. You have to the center of your picture there, that is the spot where they have Summerfest. And then you have this beautiful lakefront that has this crown jewel that is the Milwaukee Art Museum. But look at this. I mean, their downtown is spectacular, very walkable. And just down Wisconsin, you have the Pfister Hotel. Been around since 1893, and any history buffs will know 1893 also the year of Chicago's World's Fair. And there's lots of history here. Yes, I will say that I did spend the night here. I didn't have any ghostly encounters, so not much to tell about that. But lots of history over at the Pfister, including McKinley, who stayed here back in the day, and he brought his entire cabinet here, the entire White House cabinet, so much so that the event was called the White House West, where they brought his cabinet, his family, they stayed at the Pfister, and even former President Taft got word that World War II had ended in this very hotel. So I'm going to talk to Brianna and also my friend Barca about the history, the food, and all things the Pfister Hotel in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on a steamy morning here in Milwaukee. That is the story from the 78. Okay, so I made it inside to the foyer, the balcony, second floor, either way. Brianna here is going to tell me all about this wonderful hotel that is the Pfister Hotel. How are you, Brianna?
I'm good, thank you.
Thanks for having me. This space, though, we were talking off camera, particularly up on here, has some history about ladies overlooking the balcony area.
Yeah, where we are, we're in the lobby part of the Pfister Hotel, the historic side of 132 years. So basically where we are right now is where the ladies would have their tea and they'd play cards and they'd overlook and kind of gossip and take a look at who was coming in and out of the hotel. Later you'll see the other room that's downstairs is where the men would be in the billiards room, and that's where they play cards and smoke cigars. So they weren't too far from each other, but they were separated at the time.
Oh, it's funny that the ladies were up overlooking the men.
Oh, yes.
Probably by design.
They caught on.
But in the streets that people walk in off of are what surrounding the hotel?
Yeah, absolutely. So with our lobby where it is, it's a center of the building itself. We have our entrance, that's the Jefferson Street, that's where our valet is, and then we have Wisconsin Avenue, which is a main street in Milwaukee area, which is great for us because we get a lot of traffic through that street. And then we do have our entrance, which is on the Mason Street, and that actually is a great spot for especially folks who are coming to Mason Street Grill, which is our fine steak restaurant in the hotel.
Yes, I believe I'm speaking to the GM of that space in a little bit later in this video, so I'm very excited about that.
Oh, you'll be in good hands. Miss Barker is great.
Yeah, in one of the streets, if you look all the way off to the east, you have the view of Lake Michigan and the Art Museum as well.
Yeah. Yeah, what's great is that where we were, and you'll see on the 23rd floor, Blue is our cocktail lounge. And what's special about Blue is that it overlooks the lakeside, so you do get that like beautiful view, and especially when it's sunset, you know, you just have this magical view and great cocktails. And then on weekends we have live music, jazz, blues style from Milwaukee and Chicago.
I know, it's beautiful when you get up there. I somehow have not been in one of the taller buildings in Milwaukee, but the view up there is incredible. This is a whole different vantage point than people might remember if they've been to Chicago, and their views, this is just a different view. It doesn't bend, you know, like Chicago, it bends around towards Indiana. This is just, I mean, it really does look like the ocean.
It's pretty magical. I think it's a part that was built in 1960s, 62, by the Marcus family who bought the hotel at the time. So where we are in the historic side that has that was here since the 1893. So where you were, yeah, Blue is a special edition, and I think that was something just also considered, you know, when they were building the tower side, that they wanted something magical for people to have a drink or just to relax, but also have this gorgeous view of the lakeside, because there aren't many places that have it.
Well, and there's not many places like this hotel. I mean, you drive around any city, these are far and few between. And it's a gem that there is one in Milwaukee that is this, it's huge. It's not a small space. Talk to me about why it's still here. I mean, because it was, not through some folks maybe who owned it at one time that didn't really see the potential of this and wanted to close it years ago. It's still here by a singular family that saved it years ago.
Yep, so basically our hotel was built in 1893 by the Pfister family. Guido Pfister was a very prominent entrepreneur in the city. And so prior to building the Pfister Hotel, there had been a hotel here and it got burnt down. So he fought really hard knowing that they really needed that centered hotel to bring in of all different kinds of people, whether it was families or his business. He knew that Milwaukee needed that, especially for Milwaukee to grow. And so we're very lucky that as the hotel continued to grow from the 1893 on, we had his family, his son, his daughters, they made sure that the legacy was built and that the hotel was successful. But as any hotel, it was sold to outsiders. And so when it got into the hands of outsiders, I don't think they necessarily felt the love or understood what Milwaukee needed. And so it did start to get run down. And so we're very lucky that we had a next chapter of families, and that was the Marcus family. And so the Marcus family basically are known because they were the creators of the Marcus Theaters, which is the largest, Midwest movie theaters, and very successful as well.
I grew up going to one myself.
Oh yes, we love
Orland
it.
Park in Illinois. I know it very well.
Well, good. So you know how great, the idea was.
Yeah.
And what's great about the Marcuses, they were also a great entrepreneurial family. And so Ben Marcus, who was the father, the first starter of the Marcus Theaters, he knew that he had to buy the hotel here. He knew that the Pfister had a life before. He saw that, it did good for Milwaukee and that he wanted to continue on that legacy, and he saw the future of what it would do for Milwaukee, and it did. So he bought it in the 1960s and grew this hotel, built the other tower side knowing that we needed more rooms, and the hotel itself has 307 rooms.
And you have on that other side, we were up on the ballroom floor where you can kind of see the separation of the older building versus the newer building, even though it was built in the 60s, so it relatively, younger. But that first room, was that the Empire room? Is that where we were in?
Sure, so where we were, Imperial
Imperial,
Ballroom.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. And so basically where we were on the 7th floor. And the 7th floor is the full floor of ballrooms. And so you have a ballroom that's grand, the Imperial Ballroom, that's on one side, that's on the historic side of the Pfister. And then you have on our newer side from the 60s, the Grand Ballroom. And that is a huge ballroom that we have our galas, weddings, it's a huge event space. But it's kind of neat to see, yes, we've had our renovations, but you can still see the difference of the layout and how the setup are, especially from the chandeliers, the bronze, the gold. Everything is still kind of kept the way it was, but just I think it has a newer, fresh feel to it.
And then you also see the artwork everywhere. And you told me this incredible story that this artwork, unbeknownst to the new owners at the time in the 60s, didn't know it existed because it was in a basement of all places, right?
Yeah, rumor is that we've, all lived by, and, our archivist Leslie Henricks, has stated that the art itself was not being shown when the old owners of the hotel prior to the Marcuses. So it was all just in the basement in a vault.
Incredible.
And so the Marcuses, not even knowing that they had the artwork, bought the hotel. So then to discover all this artwork was pretty amazing. I mean, we have the largest collection outside of a museum, which is pretty remarkable. And so you'll see that throughout the hotel.
And it speaks to the legacy of the owners and their vision of intertwining art, culture, music, not only with this property, but St. Kate, which is another property here in Milwaukee as well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like the Pfister Hotel is lucky that they had two amazing families that believed in it, right? And continues to bring out this legacy of what this hotel stands for. But yeah, the Marcuses bought the Pfister Hotel, but then they also saw years ago, it was an Intercontinental Hotel on Kilbourne. They noticed that hotel really could bring in this different crowd. And so it wasn't historic like we are, but it has this more modern, contemporary, cool feel to it. And so people can go through the St. Kate Hotel and see all that modern exhibits and cool artwork and hear live music and just have a different feel than what the Pfister Hotel provides.
Either way, though, you're surrounded by artwork in this hotel. And would you say that the grand vision of the hotel is the lobby area where you have the grand staircase, you have the lions, and there's a significance to the lions, and also a homage to some fashion.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like the lobby, the lobby is the center. You come here and you see all the amazing artwork on the ceilings. You see how they've really kept the molding. The lobby bar area, even though it didn't start as a bar, it was a lounge area, and that has kept there from day one. Our fireplace, the molding around that, the flooring itself is still the same. So we try to keep that homage to that, the culture of what it stood for. But yes, we do our Christmases here. So we do a huge tree lighting here with a 10-foot tree, and we have snow, and Santa comes and visits. So we try to make this the center of all welcoming. You'll see around too the sign Salve. It is a fond welcome and a fond farewell, and that's the motto for the Pfister.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, Latin. So, yeah.
And what is the significance of the lions and the staircase?
Sure. So there is a painting that's in the Imperial Ballroom that we saw. The lion is one of the most expensive paintings and one of the favorites of Guido Pfister. And he was gifted 2 bronze lions when he was visiting Italy. And it was only $1,000. And to this day, who knows what they would be. But he was gifted these 2 lions that stood outside our hotel for many years. But then we brought it in so we could, preserve it as it was, with rain and the weather, it was starting
Midwest.
to kind of, go downhill. So we brought them in, and so they are originally were named Jefferson and Mason for the streets that surround us, the Pfister Hotel. But now they are Dick and Harry for Tom, Dick, and Harry.
But where's Tom?
Right, exactly. And we asked Harold, who is one of my bell captains, who's been here for almost 20 years. He didn't have the answer either, so I don't know where he is. So,
and then just beyond the stairs, you walk up a little bit and you see a little thing. There's some clothing in a case. What's that all about?
Yes, absolutely. So I feel like that was kind of our start of fashion, because the hotel itself really showcases the artwork. We have all that entertainment on the top floor. Mason Street Girl does live music, so music is always in the heartbeat of the Pfister Hotel as well. But fashion has always been a huge part of the Marcuses as well, because Greg Marcus, who is our CEO, his wife, Miss Linda, is a fashionista, and she was on Project Runway.
Wow.
And so she befriended Timothy, who was one of the winners one of the years, and he gifted us one of his fashion design dresses. And so I think that probably was the start of where they knew they needed to build on to that, and that I think that's where St. Kate was created from that start, because they I think could hide it here and there throughout the Pfister, but I think to really showcase, we needed a whole other hotel to really kind of give its homage to that.
Yeah, I feel like one of the things I've been doing these stories over the years, the Midwest gets overlooked for our art, and there's so many hidden gems. Like this is not really a hidden, it's a gem.
But it is to the world.
Yeah, you're right, 100%.
We get so many people, I'm a Wisconsin girl. I was very fortunate to live in New York City for 21 years. And I have to tell you, being here, I can connect with our outsiders. I connect with people who are from New York and who are international guests. But a lot of times you do get the oh, what is there to do here with an eye roll, or oh, Milwaukee. And I'm like, nope, let me tell you, because this city itself, I think, is proof that we can all leave the Midwest, we can leave the Milwaukee city, but a lot of us have come back, and I think that shows the growth of Milwaukee, especially with our food scene, music, art. All of us left to come back to really showcase that Milwaukee is truly a special place.
Yeah, I would argue the Midwest in general, really, because a lot of people overlook it. They think the United States is just 2 coasts,
right?
And you got the third coast that are our Great Lakes, right? So between Milwaukee and Detroit, Chicago, Cleveland, there's so much fun stuff to see.
Even Minneapolis.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
the start of the
huge.
Mississippi River,
yes.
up that way.
And we actually have, so we basically don't buy with certain brands, but we buy hotels, properties. And so we actually own the Hilton up in Minneapolis. And then we also own the Hilton in Madison. So we have little properties that are around the U.S., but the Pfister itself is the only historic hotel.
And speaking of history, you have had many presidents stay here. You mentioned that a little bit a while ago.
Yeah. What's so great about it is, the hotel itself, especially for the Midwest, the very first was McKinley. We had McKinley here, and he had a very private dinner in the Imperial Ballroom. And so, as I was stating, you know, since McKinley, we've had every president prior or during their presidency stay here at the Pfister Hotel, which has been a huge honor. You know, we had the RNC just last summer,
Right.
so I have such a passion, or when I learn these things, you know, I've been here about 5 years, and I to this day will always say I'm always learning. You know, I'm always asking questions. You know, to this day I still don't know everything. You know, but it's fun. This hotel has so much history to it.
And also you have a spot for governors.
We do. So, you know, many hotels will have their suites. And so on our historic side where we are, the governor's suite, that is a very, very special spot, especially if you're wanting to stay on this side, because you get this beautiful living area that attaches to a one bedroom. So basically you have your king bed, and then it can also attach to a double bed. So if you had a huge family staying, or say it was for a bridal suite, that would be where you would go. But it's pretty amazing because you see the photos of all the governors there. So now if you were to go then to our tower side, we call it the presidential suites. And so those suites are really beautiful because of course they overlook. You get this really grand feel of the living room, which is huge for a New Yorker. I would have loved to have lived in something like that too, especially because it's so grand and big, and you get these beautiful bedrooms with the like tubs, you know, the sunken tubs, and so it's a whole other experience as well.
Yeah, definitely worth many trips to come back and
Yes.
check out this wonderful and historic hotel. I think our time might be done here. I think next I'm going to sample some of the food over at the Mason Street Grill with
Good choice.
Barca, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to leave you now, but thank you so much for taking time to chat with me.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So we went from the beautiful confines of the hotel into Mason Street Grill. I'm here with Barca Daly, the GM. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for coming in and joining us today, Tom.
Absolutely. Look at this spread you have out in front of me here. This looks wonderful. And we're in this really unique space within the restaurant. Talk about where we're at, and then we'll get into the food.
All right, this is one of my favorite spots in the restaurant. We call it the fire line because you can see all the fire that's happening out back there. You can see the chefs cooking, our executive chef expediting all the food. I like to call it more like a dinner and a show. So you get to come, enjoy, have a great time with your friends and family, and also get to see, you know, a beautiful chaos that works so perfectly.
And that complements what people can enjoy in the dining room as well. You have this beautiful bar up front there, and then you walk into this space that has these booths. It's just a wonderful, it's like a warm hug when you walk in.
It is. All of the tones that we have, the browns, the orange, all of the tones that we pick are very homey, very comfy and warm, like you said. Yeah, so we have a high top bar where we have music starting 6 p.m. every day except for Sunday. It's beautiful. The pianists, we have bassists. It's fantastic. And you can get the full menu, as you can see in the front, right over there as well. Or you can come here, get a booth, get a table by the window, or be on the counter here. Or you can do the private dining room that is so popular for anybody for celebration, something you want to enjoy. We have a lot of MLB teams, NBA teams that will come and join us there as well. So very, very private and enhanced white glove services there as well.
Yeah, I mean, I know people who come here, travel throughout the country, they say you have to stop at the Pfister Hotel, dine there. There's so many reasons why, but like you just said, MLB teams, a lot of visiting teams from any sport really, concerts, celebrities.
Yep.
People come here. This is where you come. And they've been coming here for like over 100 years to the hotel. And how long has the restaurant been a part of it?
Almost 2 decades we've been here. And just like the hotel, we are just a place you have to be. Like, did you really come to Milwaukee if you didn't stay at Pfister and then dine here? That's what I would say.
And I look back behind you, and that's, you mentioned the area where the chefs do their thing. You have that beautiful oven that is fire powered. Look, I mean, it's going back there. And you have drinks and food. Why don't we get into a little bit of the drinks, and then we'll talk about some of the food options you got in front of you here.
Absolutely. So this is all of our summer drink menu. I'm kind of started in spring, but This would be the Italian job. It's fantastic with Prosecco, a little bit of take on Aperol Spread, but our version of it with chamomile on it, wonderful to sit on our beautiful patio, which I didn't talk about earlier, and just enjoy that, right? So we have that. We have our great outdoors. We talked about it earlier, how once we torch it, you get next to it and all of that smell just reminds you of that movie. It is.
Right, these are all movie themed cocktails, right?
It is.
Yeah.
All movie themes. Marcus Corporation, right? You can't talk about Marcus Corporation without talking about theaters and movies. So here we are, homage to our theater side. So combining all of those ingredients here and then presenting it to our guests. And also not just naming a drink to name it. For example, this Easy Aid has orange three ways, and in that movie the director left oranges all over the scenes, as
attention to detail.
Yeah, so there's a reason on why each of them are named a specific movie as well.
What else do we have going on up in front here with the drinks?
Ooh, fantastic question. So this one is a Roadhouse, very punchy.
Patrick Swayze.
Patrick Swayze. So
The
we have
OG.
amazing partnership with 2XO, and so we wanted to create this amazing cocktail that was with the whiskey. So it's so powerful. Just how would you say it? Once you take a sip, it's like you grow hair on your chest. So
Yeah, I'll go with that.
so it looks pretty gorgeous, but it's gonna just, with the macadamia nut on top, you're just gonna love that one as well.
Yeah.
And then we have the barfly as well here with the saffron and turmeric, like the movie Barfly, which was all about different drinks. So very elevated, nicely done, big cube, fantastic. Using that very classic saffron flavors, it's just wonderful.
And then since we have been graced with the presence of the food that's just been staring at us, look at this beautiful steak we have. Let's start with the steak because it's not, this is a steakhouse, American steakhouse, right? I mean, and so the steak is the king of the show or the main attraction, right?
Right. So this one is our dry aged steak. This is our chef's cut special. I know my team wanted for you to taste that one. So it is so wonderful. I mean, I am really biased with the bone-in steak. So I think if you have a steak, you need to have like Kansas City style or a dry aged. It's rare, fantastic, melts in your mouth, and that complex flavor from aging is outstanding.
We have a lot of things on the landscape here. Where are we going next with the food?
All right, I think why don't we start with something refreshing, right? Let's start with our burrata salad that has seasonal tomatoes and also some nuts and fresh basil on it. It just oozes out when you cut into it. For this summer hot weather, it is perfect salad to start with.
Which is what we have today. It's
Yes.
hot, it's summer, so maybe a little salad, definitely the steak. But we can't forget the crab cake, right?
No, it is very iconic. It has been on our menu since we opened. Wonderful. Unlike many other places, we don't fluff it up. It is when you cut into it, Tom, you will see it's like just really crab, and with the remoulade and pea tendrils on top as well.
And then we have something lovely to its right there. What do we have?
Yes, so we have our fresh melon with, it's sliced every day, the prosciutto. That goes with some peach mostarda. You have fresh chiffonade mint as well, a pillow chili. It is outstanding, refreshing, umami flavor with the prosciutto and the sweet flavor. Everything that you can think of with the cheese. It just is divine.
And let's bounce over here. Let's go there before we finish up. What do we got there?
All right, we do have our trout, fantastic. We prepare it per order as always, on top of a seasonal fresh green beans and also fried capers and the croutons as well, drizzled with brown butter. That is one of our #1 selling dish as well, because not easily can you find a fresh trout, and we are the place. We fillet it for you, it's on there, you enjoy it, melts in your mouth. I mean, it's bar none to our steaks.
And I feel like you can't be in Wisconsin without having a good trout, right? Like, so if
You
any place
have
can
to
do
have
it.
Walleye, trout, some version of fish, right? Freshwater.
Absolutely. And then to top it off here at the end, what do we got there?
We got a strawberry panna cotta with a candied pecan on top. It is
snap.
just so light and fluffy, so you'll get that fresh flavor from fresh strawberries, and then perfectly candied pecan, and the panna cotta, just multiple texture, hits all of your senses.
Do you have a favorite? I mean, I know it's like
Oh,
asking.
unfair. Nope, I'm not going to answer that question. I don't think I can. It depends on the day.
Got
All
it.
of them are my favorite.
What about a drink for a hot summer day? What do you got? What's your drink du jour?
Ooh, I think I would definitely do the Italian job. It's a must. It's light. It's refreshing. That is something I would definitely do. I would also love this Dirty Dancing, you know, the fresh blackberries. It's just easy to drink. The thing is, once you enjoy all of this well balanced, we're not just about like making a drink a sweeter or any other way. We're really about balancing all different flavors. The bad thing about when you are a well balanced cocktail, you can drink a little too many. But these are where I would start, and depending on what your favorite spirit is, brown, white, right? If you want a mezcal smoky flavor, you are going to go here. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. If you're looking for a really whiskey forward, you're gonna go right here for the Roadhouse. So it really depends.
Well, you know what? I think before I'm done, I'm going to try a drink with you. We'll cheers it at the end. Pick your
All right.
favorite, and I'll pick
Ooh.
mine. I'm
Oh.
actually, I'm going to go Dirty Dancing.
You are gonna go. Oh, you
bet you
also
Roadhouse.
talked about. Okay,
Well,
yes.
you pick. Go ahead.
No,
you
no,
pick.
no, you pick.
All right, I'll
because
do
it's it.
Roadhouse just
All
because.
right.
Why not? When in
Right,
doubt here.
right.
All right,
All
you
right.
pick yours.
Okay, okay, because this is a tough one. All right, I'm gonna do.
I'm going to go on this side of you here.
There we go.
So we're going to cheers to a happy summer. Thank you so much for hosting
Thank
me.
you.
This is a wonderful spot here at the hotel. I imagine reservations are encouraged.
Definitely encouraged.
Yeah.
Let me first taste this.
Oh yeah, I can do that all day. The macadamia nuts. I don't think I've ever had that in a drink. That's
Right.
wonderful.
Right, it adds a little bit of texture to
Yeah.
it and crunch to it. Yeah, absolutely.
So reservations?
Yes, I would always recommend reservations no matter where you go. You know, this industry has just been so the restaurant can plan, so you have for sure a table. Not always necessary, however, highly recommended on the weekends and also on a high time, for example, 5:30 to 7:30 when everybody wants to dine, you know, because we can only take so many guests.
Sure.
So I would highly recommend. Otherwise, you can come as soon as we open the door at 2 o'clock.
All right, and then you guys can come and you can see my friend here. You're here every day, right?
I am almost every day, okay?
Barca Daily. Just ask for Barca. She's
Right?
here, the GM.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I did want to, just a quick note
Yeah.
about who we are. You know, I just want to make sure we talk about our ingredients, right? My background as an executive chef, I think that's something I really want to talk about. Even though we're a hotel restaurant and belong to a corporation, I think we have to talk about the clean, wonderful ingredient that we make here. There's nothing that is pre-bought. Every single crouton is made here, every single remoulade, every single thing. There's nothing that comes out of a bag. Everything, it comes almost every day except for a few items, and we make it fresh. So
Yeah.
it's very, very important what we are serving and what for our guests.
Absolutely, and you can see a lot of that back here where the dining room falls right into the kitchen here, and you got this wonderful space here. So come out to the Pfister, come out to this lovely restaurant. You guys open every day?
We are open 365 days a week.
A year. If it was 365 days a week, that would be a whole different time continuum. So
Apparently.
that's another video that we're going to do another time.
I had a sip.
Barca, thank you so much for taking time
Thank you
to
so
chat
much.
with me. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you.